The intensity is the core about which the energy units form. The more intense the core, the sooner the physical materialization, regardless whether the mental image was fearful or joyful, happy or sorrow. If your turn of mind is intense and you think in vivid mental emotional images, this will be swiftly formed into events. Also, if you're highly pessimistic, given to thoughts and feelings of potential disaster, then they will be faithfully reproduced and experienced. Some physical places are high energy points, where everything, positive and negative, quickly occurs, where materialization will quickly appear, and potential for both constructive and destructive elements are very high. The coordinate points activate the generating behavior of atoms and molecules and encourage their cooperative abilities. While the psychic reality behind physical matter is ignored, then we cannot use those methods effectively that do exist, nor take advantage of them, because we ignore them. A soul is not something you have. It is what we are. Soul is an entity. It has no connection to religion or organization. Soul is not a finished static thing that belongs to me. Soul is my powerful inner identity. Soul is and must forever changing. It is alive, responsive, curious. It forms the flesh and the world that we know, and it is in the state of becoming. The constant process is what important, and not the destination. The arrival at any point, spiritual or otherwise, it's not important. Soul always learning, developing, subjective experience. Ego tries to forget it in order to focus on place of reality. But there are channels, psychological and psychic, that send communications back and forth through various levels of the self. And the ego accepts necessary information and data from inner portions of personality without question. The soul is not diminished but expanded through reincarnations, existence and experience in probable realities. The universe is expanding all the time. We form our body from inside out, from living substance in which each smallest particle has its own living consciousness. There are clumps of matter, therefore there are clumps of consciousness, each individual with their own destiny, abilities, potential. There are no limitation to our entity or soul, so we could say that there's one big huge energy field, and within this field there's clumps of energy, which is our plants, people, cars, and in between there's still energy, but it's not clumped as much. But every thought, if it's accumulated enough, becomes another clump of energy. Soul is creative. It is everything. One cannot return it to God because it is God. Soul is the most highly motivated, most highly energized, and most potent consciousness unit known in any universe. It is everywhere. Its energy is concentrated to unbelievable to us degree, with unlimited potentials. Yet it must work out its own identity and form its own worlds. It carries within it the burden of all being. We are only one of manifestation of our own soul, only one clump. But there's lots of it, infinite opportunities. Even the body is in a constant state of almost magical activity, even though it appears sometimes motionless. In painting, express the feeling within the apparent state of motionlessness, of highly accelerated contained activity that cannot be physically expressed, that must radiate from the painting. That's what Seth suggests for the painter actually. He says that even when you depict somebody who's not moving, it has to radiate from the painting and show that despite the illusory appearance of figure, it's something beyond it. It has a soul. Then the painting will have this special quality like Rembrandt or Leonardo da Vinci. They got the sparkle of soul within the picture. Personality, even as we know it, constantly changes, and not always in ways that are anticipated, most often unpredictable. Even the mortal self is far more miraculous than we perceive, and has more abilities than we think. Soul, above all, perceives and creates. We are a soul now. We cannot use soul. It is before, here, and after us. Our personality as we know it will also never be destroyed or lost. It is a portion of the soul. It is nevertheless only one aspect of our soul. The growth and development of our personality depends upon its realization as a manifestation of the soul. Then it learns to unfold in creativity and to use these abilities that lie within it. Our soul possesses the wisdom, information, and knowledge that is part of the experience of all these other personalities. There is an inner communication and knowledge of one is available to any other. There are no closed system in reality. It's one big soul, so we can use people's knowledge, people's abilities. We don't have to be just what we find. We can use anything else. It's all open to us, all ideas, all possibilities. Soul is an open spiritual system, a powerhouse of creativity that shoots in all directions. If one has a desire to achieve intuitive understanding of the soul, then he will automatically be led to experiences that will result in vivid, unmistakable subjective knowledge. Everything you desire you can achieve. Just want it intensively and it will happen. Perception is not physical. There are other sources of information than physical senses. It is almost impossible to separate a discussion of the nature of the soul from discussion of the nature of perception, because perception comes from the soul. Senses are only limiting this perception. We form physical matter, the world as we know it. The physical senses force us to perceive an available field of energy in physical terms and impose specific patterns upon this field of reality. But it's only one way of seeing it. There's lots of others. Using physical perception, we cannot perceive reality in any other way. So if we want to perceive it, we need to unfocus from the physical, to take a break. Soul means entity, means inner self, means present so-called personality. One is part of the other, and there is no point where one begins and another ends. We're all one big soul.